Welcome back, everybody. This is the third segment of the What's Good Games podcast, and this week we decided to do a little bit of reader mail. As you may or may not know, you can email us at contact@whatsgoodgames.com if you ever have something that you are interested in us discussing on the podcast. Of course, no guarantees. We will look at your mail and we may get to it, we may not. If you want to be sure to have us discuss something, we have a fantastic WGG producer tier at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames if you are so inclined. But we were perusing through our reader mailbag, and thank you so much to everybody who writes into us. You could also write to us at facebook.com/whatsgoodgames, on Twitter at whatsgood_games, or leave us a YouTube comment, youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. This one comes from Kendall. Kendall says, "Hi, What's Good Games. So lately, I've been creating goals when it comes to gaming. An example would be playing a Final Fantasy game for the first time, which I am currently trying to do with 15 and 9. Do you guys have any goals or bucket lists of sorts when it comes to gaming? Thank you for being an inspiration to a female gamer like myself." So, this is a really interesting question, and Kendall, thank you so much for writing in, and I think it fits perfectly with a brand new year. We got people making resolutions, trying to change some things in their life. So let's talk about some gaming goals, some gaming resolutions or bucket list items. I certainly know that there's a lot of stuff that I would like to do and franchises I would like to try. I'm trying to think of something that's a realistic goal. Do either of you have a realistic goal, or are all of your goals like pie in the sky goals?
I think something, it's not necessarily like a goal, but something that I want to feel more comfortable doing. And I actually did this last year, but it made me feel uncomfortable for a while. And that is leaving a game behind if you are not enjoying it. And so I didn't finish South Park. Fractured but a little whole, and that was the game I was so looking forward to and was so hyped about, and just kept playing and was like, okay, it's not bad, but it was just missing something for me. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm having fun playing this. I feel like I'm mostly playing this because I feel like I should be having fun playing this, so I'm gonna stop. And I haven't missed it. I haven't missed it one bit. So I think that's saying something. And so I want to try and be a little bit more okay with that, because I'm definitely somebody who, when I start something, I want to finish it. Even if I don't like it very much, usually I'll just put it on baby mode and blast through it just so I can say that I've completed the thing. But I guess I need to remind myself that it's not always necessary. And if you've played enough of it and you're not having a good time, there's just so many other things that you can do with said time that you should stop.
No, it's true. That reminds me, I didn't talk about this in our hands-on section, but I sunk about maybe 10 to 12 hours into a game on the Switch as well called Unepic. And Metroidvania 2D, it's really cute, really charming, but after I got 50% done, I was like, it's like I like it, but I'm not having as much fun with it as I was the first 50%, and you feel like you're leaving a task unfinished. And it makes you feel like, I need to finish this. But it's like, no, you don't. It's fine. So I totally agree with that one, Seimer. That's a really good one. I think for me, and this sounds kind of weird because, I'm a co-host on a video game podcast, one of my goals for 2018 is to set aside more time for video games. And what I mean by that is we get so caught up with, email or social media or so many other online things that before I know it, it's 7 o'clock. I haven't eaten hardly anything all day. And I'm like, I should probably eat. And then I just want to veg. And then I'm like, when am I going to put in time for video games? So one of my goals is to wake up earlier, at least by 7, which is really early for me. I'm just going to throw that out there. Since I've been self-employed to work from home, I've gotten in the terrible habit of getting up around 8 or 8:30 every morning, and it's bad. But I tell myself, I'm like, if I get up by 7, that's an extra hour and a half I could have for a game, and that adds up after a while. So that's one of my goals as well, is to just try to set the phone down a little more and spend more time doing what I love. This playing all these games this past holiday break was really an eye opener for me. It's like, oh, this is really fun, and I forgot how much gaming relaxes me. And when I don't allow myself to do that, I realize I'm much more uptight and wound up, and it's really important for my sanity. So that's one of my major goals. The game I want to freaking get to is Horizon Zero Dawn because goddamn.
You did not play this at all over
I
break at
know.
all? Like not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit. And this is like an issue, a known Brit issue. It's like I know I've put maybe like 10 to 12 hours of Horizon in. I'm not willing to pick up where I left off because I know I've forgotten some story elements, so I know I have to start over.
You don't.
I know I
though.
don't have to.
You don't. Come on, Brit.
Why
I
don't
know.
you just like watch like a YouTube recap or something? Like you could probably watch the beginning cutscenes again.
Yeah, I know. It's I need to get over it, but that's like another issue. Maybe that's another goal of mine. It's like it's okay to pick up a game where you left off. You don't have to sink in the hours you've already put into it.
Well, it
Yeah.
can be, but no, I totally hear you, Britt, because that's happened to me with some other games where you've put it down for so long and then you try and get back into it and you're like, I don't remember how to play this. I don't remember how to do anything, and then you don't really want to play it anymore because you don't.
Yeah.
It's not coming to you as naturally, and
Yeah.
we don't really like things we aren't good at. So if you're just sucking it up on this game, you're
Word.
like, it's
Yeah.
not fun. But I do want you to.
I know. It's
Go
the
back
number
to
one game. I
Horizon.
promise.
You're gonna love it. Trust me.
I know.
One of my gaming goals, much like Brit, to certainly make more time to play more. We certainly get caught up in like running the business and not actually doing the business. For me is finishing more games. There are a lot of games out there from 2017 that I didn't get to that a lot of people talked about as being great because I stayed with the games that I like and that I love. I certainly played like a lot of games in 2017, of course, but I could play more. I remember being a guest on Total Biscuits podcast earlier this year and hearing him and Dodger and Jesse talk about games on the Co-optional podcast. I was just like, man, these guys really do play like a substantially like larger library of games than I am accustomed to having the time to play, but they don't have more hours in their day. They just use it differently than I do. And
Right.
I certainly would like to spend time playing more indie games and doing and kind of diversifying the portfolio of games that I play. I told Alexa, and I'm sticking to my guns, that I would play a Final Fantasy game this year. And so I will play Final Fantasy IX, so as recommended by her and Britt to play. So that's going to happen. So that's on my gaming goals for 2018 is to finish Final Fantasy IX. How many hours do you think that's going to take me?
A lot.
A lot.
When you say a lot, are we talking like 50, 75, less?
I would say, yeah, about 50 to 80 hours.
Is there a difficulty ramp? Can I put it on easy? We'll go faster.
There's no easy. It's turn-based, so it says easy as much as you want to grind, if that makes sense.
I don't want to
Like
grind though.
There's some no. There's some really, really good grinding spots. We can get you to like, girl. I know these places like the back of my head. I got you. Yeah, that's what she said.
Well, I'm
Dang it,
thinking of Brit's Muppet song where she's like, "Ain't nothing wrong with a little Muppet."
Hell yeah.
Weird voice, and that just made me think of that.
No, it's good. It's a good Muppet voice. Yeah. So there's some really easy grinding. If you really want to get like cheatful, we can break out. I can bring over my old Game Shark, my old action
you still
replay.
have it?
Oh fuck yeah, man! I have all that stuff.
She's a
I have my
hoarder. Of
game-
course she
I have-
does.
I'm a collector. I have my Game Genie.
Collecting is just hoarding, but more neat.
Samir, I'm gonna punch you through this monitor, girlfriend. That's okay. I love you. It's true. No, I'm not denying it. It's true. I've cut back. I'm proud of myself. But seriously,
that's
like
cutting back.
What? No. Lately, I've cut back. Let's just hold our titties here. It's okay. I'm doing better. I'm doing better.
Okay. I'm holding them.
If you're not into the turn-based battle, if it gets a little too much, which I personally think is very rewarding, we can get you up there. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Wait a
good.
minute. With the new re-releases, I think they included things in the game that you can skip a lot of the random battle. That's right. Is they put in a new
Yeah,
mechanics.
was that Final Fantasy IX though?
I think so. Yeah. It's coming back to me now. I'm thinking of like PlayStation Final Fantasy IX.
It's all coming back to me now. There are moments of gold. Do you guys remember Celine Dion?
Just keep
Yeah,
going.
totally.
Oh
Yeah, keep saying. I'm trying to look at these cool things.
Yes, I looked up the story as well about the PS4 release, but I don't have the details on the port. But I
Yeah.
believe you. Brett, do you have, or Steimer, do you have any other gaming goals for 2018?
Mine's
I
the
would
opposite of both of yours.
go on. You go on with your bad self.
Because Brittany, when you started, you're like, I know we have a video game podcast, but I thought you were gonna do the thing that I'm about to do, which is to say I'm actually gonna play less video games and do other things. But like, I think what I need to do is basically just schedule my time better. So that like, here is the dedicated gaming time. But I also feel like I want to read more books. I want to like solve puzzles in the evening, or like relearn how to play my flute from high school, figure that shit out. So like there's other things that I want to make sure that I'm rounding out my life with, so that
Sure.
video games are not the only thing that I do.
No, that's totally fair. I think that's healthy. Yeah, going back to Final Fantasy 9. There are certain codes and cheats you can implement where you can do like 9,999 damage per attack.
Ooh.
So you'll be fine. The grinding will not be an issue. I would say another goal of mine, and you ladies will laugh at me, is to probably play and finish as like a Super Nintendo game that I never got around to. Don't know. No.
But, like, do you have any on the SNES Classic?
Yeah, like there's what Final Fantasy game is on SNES Classic? But like the Final Fantasy games, my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 7. I've played 7, 8, 9, 10, and onward. But I haven't played any of the ones like the older ones on the Super Nintendo. So to me, that's
You know what? I
will
will join you in that, and I will play Earthbound.
Oh yes, please.
So I can finally like nerd out with you and Goldfarb.
I would love that. No, that would be really, really fun. Yeah. I see that look, Andrea. I see it.
It's just like complacency. It's just like, okay.
No,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with going back and playing classics. I think it's important for video game education, and I myself could benefit from playing more, classics in, the library of like the best video games of all time. However, there's just so many new amazing games that are being released currently that it's hard for me to justify making time to go backwards when I don't make time for the things that are currently out now, So I definitely want to, invest some time, at least dipping my toes into some genres that I don't really spend a lot of time in. And really kind of looking at some games or some developers specifically, like studios that make a specific type of game that I don't really play a lot of. And really kind of like taking a look at what those games are and really just finishing more. I would really like to make a goal for myself to finish at least 2 games a month for 2018 for a total of 24 games. That doesn't seem like very much when you think about it, because my friend Ray Carcillo finished 89 games in 2017. He is a reviews editor, so he has to play a lot of games, and he has dedicated time to play a lot more games because it's like a very substantial part of his job over at EGM. But I feel like if I can get even like a third of that, then I'm doing better. And I hope I can, at the end of this year, at this time in 2019, when we're on like episode 70 of this show or whatever, or it'll be more than that by then. It'll be like episode 100 almost. I'll have to work it out. God. That I'll be able to say that I crushed my goal, that I beat, so many more games than that. But I'm willing to commit to that, to commit to finishing 2 games a month every month for 2018. Goal set.
That's a great goal. It gets tricky when you have these big open world games though, right? Where it's like every game requires so many hours. But that's a good goal too, because it might force you to play some indies and smaller titles that you might not normally get around to.
You're like, man, I need a 4-hour game because I just played something that was 80 hours. Let's go to the indie catalog. What you got for me?
Well, it's like the games as services is really what's throwing me off, because so many of these tentpole titles are turning into these live service games that kind of continue to draw you back. Like me still playing Destiny 2 and me wanting to get back into Rainbow Six Siege and playing Paragon and going to take a look at another MOBA and seeing all these games do this, it's tough because you want to keep experiencing the new content and the franchises that you love, but not everything can be a live service game because you can't maintain relationships and experiences, and really, like, you can't continue to progress in live service games if you don't actively play all the time. The community will leave you behind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating.
Yes.
But is there a specific type of game that you haven't played, or a franchise that you haven't played that has something new coming out next year that you're looking forward to putting on your kind of like to-do list?
I don't know if Far Cry 5 counts because I already know I'm excited for it, but this is like the Far Cry 5 I think I'm going to finally play more than like 10 to 15 hours of, and I'm
So
really
you've never
looking
finished
forward
a Far
to that.
Cry?
Nope.
So maybe that's your goal, is to finish a Far Cry?
There we go. That's a good goal. That'll be a fun, easy goal because I'm already like super excited for Far Cry 5. I would encourage you ladies to play some horror titles, maybe Resident Evil 7. Just try it.
I'm good.
Well, it made a lot of
I
top
will
10
play
lists.
with you.
I'll play it with you. I'll keep my eyes open during all the scary moments, and I'll tell you what's happening.
At it.
Yeah, it happens.
Simer, is there another type of game or a franchise that you haven't tried that you would be willing to go out on a limb and give a shot?
I feel like I'm fairly well-rounded. Like I'm trying to think of a genre that I haven't tried, and
What about Monster Hunter? Have you tried that?
is that a genre?
Well, no, not a genre. I mean, sorry,
It's a
like it's a
franchise.
title. Like, have you know, franchise?
Yeah. I think I've only like dipped my toe in the Monster Hunter waters. I mean, I'll play that because if it's something co-op, like I'm more than happy to play with you guys. But the thing that came to my mind, and it's not the genre. I've played these genres before, but I missed the first Ni no Kuni, so I'm super excited to like get another shot at playing a new updated shiny version.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. It'll be a fun one.
I
It'll
also
be
did
long.
not play the first Ni no Kuni. I have to admit, wasn't really drawn or interested in playing Ni no Kuni 2. But I'm probably going to, take a look at it, try it out, see how it goes. Don't know if I'll finish it, but I'll try it. Give it a
Yeah.
whirl.
It's all about trying new things in 2018.
You try the things. If you don't like them, you follow my rule, which is to drop it like a hot potato, and then you just keep moving on.
I just like to shoot stuff. It's a problem.
But,
I play
yeah,
video
Ni no Kuni
games
is
because I'm
definitely
like, I
gonna hit
just want to
the-
like escape and feel powerful for a little while and then be done.
It's fair.
I don't always need like a really deep and engrossing story with lots of strategy. I feel like that's been like my big hang up with a lot of JRPGs, is that a lot of the storylines I'm just like, there's too much happening and I don't understand, and
You need like a chart to
yeah, and then
figure out
like
what's
the
going on.
combat is all like there's all these different systems working, and you have to like know how this element affects this type of combat, and then this person has this many hit points and you have these many health points, and you have to like keep track of it all. And I know some people love that about JRPGs, and that's why that genre is so popular, and people are like, I love that it has a lot of stuff going on. It makes me feel like my brain's working while I'm playing, but I'm like, nah, dog, I want to just kind of zone out.
Well, that's a totally fair point because I mean I never forget, like, one of my proudest moments in gaming was when I was like 19 and I had to go to work the next day, and I stayed up to like 4 in the morning partaking in like a 3-hour long boss battle in Enchanted Arms on the Xbox 360, because you had to manage all of your hit points and you had to know when to heal and when you could attack, and you had to learn the patterns. And I personally love that, but just lately, maybe that's another goal, is to try to get into more JRPGs. Like, that is like my bread and butter. It's just the games are typically so long, I haven't been able to really dedicate, except for Divinity Original Sin 2, but that's not a JRPG. I would love to get back into JRPGs, like Ni no Kuni 2. I want to do Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which came out last year. There's just so many, but it's so daunting. But
Yeah,
I
and
love
games
that
are just
stuff.
getting, the thing that just makes me not nervous, but feel a little queasy is like, I know how like everybody's padding their games out. Everybody wants their games to be longer experiences so that you don't trade it in. And I completely understand. But for people like us, I'm like, oh no.
Too many
Please, just give me like a good 8-hour experience and I'll be fine with that.
Yep. Exactly. Well, these are some good goals. I'm proud of us. I think that we'll be able to stick to these mostly, and we'll be able to keep ourselves honest. We can do a check-in on these goals in the summer in July, and be like, how are we doing on our goals? If we need to readjust, if we need to make more goals or different goals, we can kind of play that by ear. We have to get Alexa Ray's goals for 2018, but. Thanks for writing in, Kendall, and for letting us know that what your goals are. She mentioned that she wants to, that she's been eyeing Okami and Resident Evil. I also have never finished a Resident Evil game, so maybe I will check out 7. We can all play together. We can pass the controller.
Girl, if you play Final Fantasy 9 and Resident Evil in the same year, I might have to marry your ass. Like, that just,
You're both married, so that's not legal.
It's fine. Don't complicate things. It's fine.
The boys can bro out. They'll have a good time.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for writing in. Let us know if you guys are listening or watching, if you have specific goals. Maybe we can be inspired by your goals. You can leave us a comment on this video on YouTube or the variety of podcast services that it is available on our Patreon page at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. Of course, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of the places where you can interact with us. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, we are going to be changing a few things with Patreon, but before we announce any of that, we would like to hear your feedback. We know that we haven't quite made it to our year anniversary. I don't think we need to wait until then to, potentially do some revamping on things that you guys have been asking for. We have gotten feedback from you guys in the past, and we are very appreciative of that. But considering, the Patreon shakeup that happened last month, we, are still figuring out ways to try to recover some of the people that we lost, unfortunately. And we would like to hear what you think. If you are a listener or a viewer of this show and you're not part of our Patreon community, and there's something that you wish that we offered that would entice you to be part of that community, we would love to hear what that is. And maybe we could accomplish that together. If you're like, hey, I would like to support you guys, but you don't do this one thing that I really like in another show that I watch or a show that you support, let us know. Email us at contact@whatsgoodgames.com and let's have a dialogue about it. We'd love to hear from you. Ladies, any parting thoughts?
Love you. Happy 2018. Yay.
I don't know, Mom. Why did you call on me?
I had to fill in the awkward silence. So I seriously, thank you all.
Amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next week. Goodbye.